and welcome to Devious Games. I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4, guys. 2 days, 10 hours, 44 minutes to be precise. That's a lot of gaming, friends. I've been enjoying it though. After a long loading screen, which is one of my biggest gripes with the game, we get in, and this is where I've set up. It's the Red Rocket Truck stop and gas station, and it's my character Alyssa, and she's kind of a Black Widow-esque type character. She's pretty pissed off, and she'll mess you up. I'm not going to really go into too many spoilers beyond the obvious things. I mean, I'm assuming that people watching this have probably played some of the game. If you haven't, then there's no story spoilers, but I do. Obviously, I've played about 60 plus hours of the game, and so there are a lot of stuff in here that I've added that you probably won't have done if you haven't played the game. But really, I'm just going to give you tips so that you don't waste resources on things you don't need, because really wasting resources is one of the things you don't want to do in this game, where one of the biggest things you have to do is collect resources, and it'd be a shame to waste them. Especially one of the biggest ones is copper, which you use to make things like wires and pylons and the connectors for them and things like that, which I'll go into shortly. So it really, not wasting resources is a big deal if you're a big dork like me and you really want to make the most of what you've got. It also saves you time. See, like, I haven't deleted this even though I'm not using it, because I need it. But what I have discovered is that instead of deleting things you don't need, like, you could press to scrap it and it'll give you wood back, even though I put ceramic and copper into it because it's got a power thing on it. You can instead store it in the workshop, which is a really neat function. So the workshop is great because when you've stored things in there, which you know, when you junk anything, which is a big part of the game, it all goes into here. This workshop's great because you can actually connect the other places, the other settlements you've got up with supply lines, which means once you've set the supply lines up, you can access the same pool of resources from the workshop in any of these places, which is useful if you want to build things and stuff like that in different settlements, and obviously you don't want to cart the resources around with you. So that's really cool, and I'll explain how to do that also. So I've set up my place, and I'm kind of role playing the game a little bit. You know, it's got a story why I'm here, and you know, and it kind of developed from my own little fort into a little trading post, which you can unlock and build stuff through the perk system. So I guess one of the first things you have to do is build water. So everyone knows how to do that. I think you go into this menu, which isn't intuitive to use at all, but you do get quicker at it. And if you go into the food, if you go into the water is where I was going. You've got water pump, water purifier, and water pump industrial. Now these two need a water source, like a river or something like that, which I have set up at Sanctuary. But the water pump, you just need to put it on dirt, and that'll give you 3 water, and you can put as many down as you want. It might feel stupid, but that's the system they've chose to use, so that's what you've got to do. Then one of the first things you do is put down water, and then you add to the water depending on how many people there are. Same with the food. You've got obviously one of the tutorial missions in the game is to teach you how to put down the food and stuff, so I'm not going to waste time telling you how to do that. But one of the things it does sort of tell you, but it doesn't tell you very well, is how to assign people. And you go up to a settler and you command, and then you go up to the resource, and then you it highlights for you. So let's say we want to make him do this wheat or something, or corn, and then we would assign him to that. And we've got these people working on it here. You can also use that same sort of interface if you want to assign people to supply lines to get that workshop up and running. So if I was to go up to this guy and say supply line, you can tell him to go to any of these places, and then it'll connect that place to you with the supply line, which I explained gives you the pooled resources, which is really useful. Now, this game is buggy. I didn't play the other Fallout games very much because I didn't like the gunplay, and the gunplay is one of the things they've really fixed up in this, which is really cool. But it is buggy. For example, this trading stand I put in, I assigned a person to it, but that person isn't there, and it isn't working every time I tell them to go there. The other ones are working fine, as you can see, but we'll try and add someone to it, and I'll show you how it's just not working very well at all. Let's say this person, right? Let's tell them to go here first, so that we know that we've got their attention. Which sounds weird, but I tell you, this game is very peculiar with its AI habits and behavior. Like that cow that's wandering around, I can't do anything about that, even though it's my settlement. But there you go. So I've applied that person to that, and now the food levels have gone down. But theoretically, there should be another person wandering around here that I'd assign to this, that I can then assign to food. Who knows where they've gone? That's another thing, is that it's really hard to keep track of who's doing what, because they're all very similar. They don't have distinct personalities or names. They're just called settler, and you get mixed up. Like I'm sure I've got a supply line that is actually overlapping, but there's no way for us to tell completely unless I really go and add up each one and see who's accounted for and assign them numbers and names. Like this person, right? I've assigned them to go to that shop, and they haven't went there, right? And it's a problem. I've tried moving it, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. I moved the stall to somewhere that was easier to go to. All kinds of stuff like that. It just didn't seem to make a difference. I'm not going to spend a huge time explaining the bugs in this game to people. But yeah, that's a major one I'm having. Like I said, I've tried moving the actual stand around, and it hasn't made a difference. Obviously, I've made it able to make it work with these people.
If you ain't been up to see
you can trade with them once you put them in, which is great, but it costs a bottle cap investment, and you have to have a perk as well to be able to do it.
Let's see what you have.
But it does, I believe it passively earns you money as well. But like I say, you can trade. He's got he's got broken lamp build which has copper, so I'll buy that from him because it's not very much. The same with the adhesive is a big thing, which I'll show you a little bit of a trick for actually. If you don't want to spend the rest of your life finding adhesive as well as copper. So let's accept that. Let's see if that person has gone there. No, they haven't. I'll try and fix that at a later date. So that's kind of what you do with those, and so to build those little things, you just go to resources, stores, trader, weapons, whatever you want. You put it down. It tells you how much of an investment it'll take to get it. Bottle caps 1,000. But it doesn't actually tell you how much you make from it or anything like that, because that would be too much information. But I'm sure eventually, I didn't play the other game, so I hear the modding community is pretty great at fixing these problems. It just sucks that a game has to rely on that when it's a AAA game. I don't know, kind of sucks, but what can you do? Because on the other hand, it's amazing, and the adventures and the stories are amazing. So the perk for those things you have to have, like the settlements and stuff, is this local leader one, and it tells you about things you can do right on the screen there, and yeah, pretty useful. I end up going down kind of a weird tree. I added perception to it because I wanted to be able to do damage with rifles and sniper rifles, because I like to do distance damage, but charisma was so useful as well that I like more or less maxed that out. I like having this little settlement here. It takes a lot of power to keep it going. Power is one of the things that took us a long time to understand what to do. And see, like, this person used to be working on the actual bottle stand, the stand down there, and now they're up here for some reason. Right? It's like, this game is crazy, and I can't assign it to any of this stuff for some reason. Oh, I can assign it to the corn. Okay. Well, I supposedly assigned it to the corn. She's supposed to be assigned that.
Okay.
I was going to tell you about the power, I'm sorry. So each of the power, once you've got a generator set up, and I've got a couple of generators up there set up, you need like power pylons and copper wire. These all are pretty expensive to build these things, so you want to make as few connections as possible. I've probably got way more than I need here, and I've probably done it inefficiently, but the name of this game is efficiency. So once you've got the generators set up, which I've got a couple of because the power demands are crazy. I've got this medium one and this small one, and then this windmill. I should have probably just had a big one at the beginning, but it didn't work out that way, for whatever reason. Just I built that one, and then I wanted to see what this does, and it didn't do anything. Produces very little energy, kind of shit. So you have to have it all connected. So you have to make little connections. So this one goes to a power pylon here, which goes to that one down there, which goes to most of the area. It seems really arbitrary on how long the cable lengths can be, but basically the cable lengths can only be so long. You're gonna have like powered turrets. Like I've got this missile turret here. It takes power, so I had to hook it up through this and then through there. So you've got to make sure each one of those is connected. It's just like building your own power grid, essentially, I guess. You have to make sure it's all, in a very literal sense, connected. And you use these little ceramic things here, the power conduit. So sorry, I keep saying ceramic things because that's the big ceramic and copper is what you use to make them, and they're expensive, and so that's what I always think in my head. I was thinking, you connect it like that, and then you can make things like the lights. So this building here's got one, and so it's got a little light bulb here. You can add all that stuff in yourself, which is cool. It gives out light at night time. We've got them here and here, but obviously you've got to, if you're doing that, it becomes expensive, and it's purely aesthetic, and so I don't know if the lights make people happier or not. It's really hard to tell what makes them happy and unhappy. It seems pretty arbitrary also. I often go out with my power armor, which I've upgraded a lot. If you're going to store things, by the way, be careful, because under an attack situation, I've been attacked a couple of times, and the villagers will just pick stuff up out of containers. And one time they picked up, like, I had a fat man in there, so they just started firing nuclear, like, mini nukes at people. It was totally nuts. I love that about the game, actually, like the attacks. Like one time I got attacked by super mutants, and they surrounded me, and they came from all angles, and they had a sniper up on that hill and stuff. It was absolutely crazy. One of the reasons I do love the game is the gunplay. The gunplay is absolutely, like, great. I love it. I love the sounds of the guns. I love everything about modding them. I really modded a lot of the stuff. I did the sniper rifle, which I made into a 50 cal, which I really like. It previously was firing 308, but I just ran out of ammo for it, and I've got a little bit of 50 cal ammo, so 44 rounds. So I figured, why not? Because I can always make another 308 one. It's not a big deal. And also I made a crazy combat shotgun with a suppressor and stuff, but it does a lot of damage because it's got all of these mods on, which are all expensive. Once you've set people making food and stuff, you can then collect the food, and you can do things like make vegetable starch as an extra utility. And the game doesn't tell you about this stuff really, I don't think, but anyway, you can do it, and then that makes glue or adhesive, it's called in the game. And then you can then use it obviously to upgrade your weapons and stuff. That's a useful tip. I often make adhesive that way because it makes 5 adhesive, and once you've got settlers on different farms and stuff getting vegetables and crops ready for you, it really doesn't take long to get that going. Yeah, I don't know, I'm really liking the game. My character is pretty badass. She really is tough, and I'd love to see like an action movie with a female lead like that, because I guess this feels like it with all the attacks that we've been under and stuff like that. It's been totally badass. I usually make an avatar based on like that looks like myself and stuff when I play role play games like this, but I figured I always do that, so I wanted to do something different this time. Yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, let me know, and I'll make another one. I'll explain some more tips. I'll go in more depth with the building stuff. I'll show you more stuff that I've done in different places if you want. Let me know. I've really enjoying Fallout a lot. It does have its share of problems, but it's also an amazing world that I've spent a really long time in. I love some of the characters. I love going out with the dog, who incidentally, another tip, you can take the lone wanderer perk, and the dog doesn't actually count as a companion for that perk, and you still get the benefits for it, which is really nice. Yeah, and it's great. Let me know if you want another video. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.